It is really amazing to think how fascinating the attribution of ballet even in the early 20th century. Let us get back in time how the 20th century ballet really just began. This documentary aims to give attribution to the history of contemporary ballet, incorporated with dancing. Let us explore the history behind the 20th century ballet revolution from a short documentary tribute of
A group of artists disgruntled with the Russian cultural scene produced by the 20th century ballet in St. Petersburg. They included Leon Bakst and Alexander Belois, as well as Sergei Diaghilev, who had made a reputation for himself staging Russian painting displays in Paris, and the choreographer Michael Fokin, who had become tired of Petipa's stodgy traditional ballet. In late 1905, a new generation of dancers revealed against imperial ballet rigidity, resulting in the formation of a new ballet. The subject matter inspired the choreographer, music, and the design of each ballet.
Dance program was now one of 4 short constructed work rather than a full evening performance category. Become more expensive without formal mind movements, and the corps de ballet become an integrated part of a ballet instead of just decorative background. Overnight, European ideas about ballet were overturned and ballet became an important art form. The male dancer to popularity, the dancer become household name, and the designer, the range of Paris. In 1912, Michael Fokin's ballet, designed by Leon Bakst, inspired a passion for her parts, turbans and floor fashion.
Even though Michael Fokin was a famous dancer and teacher with the Mariinsky Ballet in St. Petersburg in 1908, his real vocation was for choreography. He rejected formal classical ballets like The Sleeping Beauty and The Swan Lake. He felt that dancing should be a truly expensive medium and not a mere gymnastics. And the type of music and design should be reflect the time and place of the subject. The conservative Russian theaters of Michael Fokin's day, such ideas were dangerously revolutionary. In 1909, Diaghilev arranged for Fokin's ballet to be seen in Paris. Overnight, ballet in Europe was changed forever. Fokin was a demanding taskmaker. His dancer became used to his sudden rages, to chairs being thrown about the studio. But as one dancer said, he gets the best out of everyone. Anyone who has anything to give, he enhances and makes it finer. Sergei Diaghilev gathered dancers from the Imperial Russian theaters, and in May 1909, they appeared in Paris. No one had seen ballet or dancer like this before, and they were a great success.
Sylphides was Michael Fokin's tribute in the Romantic Ballet. It used scraps de ballet in the new and expressive way. The rhythms of the Fallopian dances and Fokin's uninhibited choreography, performed by adult band, had the audience in frenzy. It was Fokin who developed exciting new choreography for men and rekindled the interest in the male dancer. The sensation of the first night of the Diaghilev ballets process in Paris in 1901 was the Fallopian dances.
While savagery of Fokin's choreography, the pounding rhythms of the music and the chanting chorus whipped the audience into a frenzy. In Europe, the male dancer had become a figure of ridicule. No one could have imagined men dancing with such brawl power and attack. Almost overnight, the male dancer was restored to his place at the center of dance. Much of that credit must go to Bond, whose performance as the warrior chief was at the center of Fokins' highly choreographed chaos, dancing as his poses, his performance evoked of the passion and proud freedom of the nomadic tribes. As one critic wrote, he is the germ of destruction, the spirit of unrest, terrible but magnificent.
Cohen's 1910 Ballet the Barbarian was based on Russian fairy tales. The music was the first score commissioned by Diaghilev from the brilliant young composer Igor Stravinsky. The Barbarian has magical power. In order to escape capture by the young prince Ivan, she gives him enchanted feather that will summon her if he is in trouble. She later frees him for an attack by the wizard Kostis and his monstrous followers. Ivan then marries the enchanted prince who has been Kostis' prisoner.
This photograph of Royal Ballet's production, taken in 1959, Margot Fontaine is the Firebird. It shows the scene where she forces Kostis' bird followers into a frenzied dance and then into an enchanted sleep. The ballet was one of the finest of the Royal Ballet's revivals from the Diaghilev Ballet Repertory. Fontaine was taught the role by Tamara Karsavina, who had been the original Firebird in 1910.
Fokins' ballet, Scheherazade, designed by Lenny Bast, created a sensation when it first produced by Diaghilev Ballet Russes in 1910. This was part due to the last decadence and bold use of color in design, but also because of orgy scenes of Shah's with the Negro slaves. The role of favorite slaves was created by Vaslav Nijinsky and Shah's favorite wife, Zubayde, by India Rubinstein. Barber's prints evoke the decadent sexuality of their performances, and its dirtmanship and erotic overtones. It recalled the style of English artist Aubrey Beardsley. Beardsley had also been a great influence on Basque.
It shows one of Leyenbach's superb design for Michael Fokins' ballet, Lady Blue in 1912. While the ballet itself was not a success, it was a magnificent example of Bach's design. It provided dozens of costumes, many of which were only seen for a few minutes. Priests, princes, merchants, temple servants, temple dancers, girls carrying peacock on their shoulders, whirling dervishes, all arrayed in sumptuous costumes. A theatrical costume design is not a work of art. It is a working drawing for the costumiers who translate the two-dimensional line and color into fabric and texture.
In 1911, Diaghilev Ballet broke away from the imperial treacherous and formed his own company, which toured extensively throughout Europe. All of the ballet were choreographed by Michael Pocan until 1911. In 1911, Nijinsky was fired from the Mariinsky Theater for a breach of discipline, which many believe was orchestrated by Diaghilev, Nijinsky's boyfriend and mentor. With Nijinsky as his star, Diaghilev founded a Diaghilev Ballet from dancers trained in Russia's imperial treacherous. They never returned to Russia, and for the next 20 years, the company was a nomadic troupe and toured Europe and the United States.
Cut off from Russia by World War in 1917, Russian Revolution, and Diaghilev turned to European artists and subjects. He commissioned major Europeans, painters, and composers from countries in which they performed. Picasso designed the three-cornered hat and parade, and Israel Ballet for the design of parade. Picasso makes a popular art and cubism. The musical scores was written by Eric Satie and include the sounds of the typewriters, aeroplanes, and hatters.
Diaghilev looked for similar spectacular that might give his company financial stability. He turned back to petty past The Sleeping Beauty and mounted by a production at the Alhambra Theatre in London, designed by Leon Bast. He lost a fortune. Russes in the 1920s survived throughout keeping the interest of work. Nijinsky's sister, Bronislava Nijinska, created Les Beaches and Le Train Bleu about the smart social set and the fashionable Ribera. After Nijinsky came George Balanchine. Diaghilev commissioned composer Igor Stravinsky and Serge Prokofiev, designers Marie Laurencin and George Braque, and couturiers like Loco Chanel to design costumes.
Throughout the 1920s, the company was still at the forefront of everything new in dance and theater. Diaghilev died in 1929. His company broke up, but his dancers and choreographers continued to influence the world of dance. In England, Marie Rambert and Ninette de Valois established companies of international importance. George Balanchine founded the first major classical dance company in America. In the 1930s, Fokine and Massin worked with the Debussy Ballet, reviving many of the works created by Diaghilev as well as creating new masterpieces. Diaghilev's legacy is the explosion of world dance in the 20th century.
Ballet is like the number of all dance technique. Most Western style of dance today can be traced back to ballet, and its codification has been extremely influential in all styles of dance. Many dance techniques borrow from the ballet French technology.
Tout en volant, il est intime,